Yeah, well, hey, we'll see what happens. But so far, that's where we're at after 4 games. We'll do some regular reviews when we don't have any guests. We don't have a game of the week and nobody to bring on because it wasn't that close. The closest game was 23 points this past week. So, feeling it or dealing it. Not too much to go over because we already went over some of this before. But first up on the list, Bucs 26, Saints 9. Now, you know that this made me very happy. It made Jeff very unhappy. And that combination makes me super happy. We won by 17 points in New Orleans. One of the best results that we've had, and we didn't even have Brady this time. Like, did you watch much of this game? What did you think about it if you did?
It was cool, man. It was cool to see the Bucks get up there, take the lead, dominate, and not give the game away. I felt like the team was pretty well controlled. They controlled the pace of the game. Usually, this is these teams they're the gladiators. Every time they get on the field, they're out there to kill each other. So
Yeah.
and then even if we end up getting a lead, historically they end up coming back. So it was good to see for once the Bucks take it and kind of hold the lead and end up to win this game in convincing fashion. But Kamar looked good out there. Kamar looked good, but
13 catches for 33 yards.
yeah, wow.
Ugh. I mean, but if I were to tell you 13 catches, you'd be like, hell yeah, damn, what do you have, like 100 yards? No, not 100 yards. You know that 13 catches for 33 yards, that is the most catches for the least amount of yards ever. The next closest was 13 catches for 71 yards. So I mean, what I got to say, it feels very cliche, and I'm not very big on cliches, but in this case, it's true. What I like about the Bucs right now is they're playing complementary football most of the time, and it didn't work too well against Philly. Philly's a
Right,
great team. I didn't
right.
expect that to win, but their offense is working well enough. Their defense is working well enough. I like Canales. I'm not a big Bulls fan, but the defense is working well, and I feel like they're kind of compatico. You know what I mean? Like they're doing what they need to do on offense. They score enough. They're scoring more than what we were doing last year, and the defense is holding them down. It's like the defense feels like they need to, so they do. The offense feels like they have to score, so they do. 3-1. I did not. I thought we might be 1-3. Going into the year. So very happy for that. Bucks are on a bye this week. Saints are at the Patriots. That's going to be interesting. Speaking of interesting, that Eagles and Commanders game. Good Lord. I did not see this going to overtime. 34-31. Did you catch any of this game, man?
Yeah, this game was fun. We popped this up on the screen. It was one of the few games that was still going on in the red zone, and kind of everybody had their eyeballs glued to the TV because it did go to overtime unexpectedly. But the Commanders had this game. The Commanders had the Eagles cornered. What did they have to do, Jordan, to win this game? What did they have to do in the fourth quarter to end this thing?
I know that they had. Oh, I know what they needed to do. They should have gone for 2.
There you go.
They should have gone for 2. That's what they needed to do. They took the pussy way out, and that was horrible. Because, I mean, honestly, man, like if you're going to get like everybody thought after that Manders and Bills game that they were just going to get waxed, and they came out firing, and they had control of the game. You drive down and you get the touchdown and bring you within 1. You go for 2. You don't put it in Jalen Hurts' hands or have that chance of a coin flip losing you the game. Yeah, I hated that call. That was a horrible, horrible call, and I can't believe it because what happened to Riverboat Ron? Riverboat Ron retired. He's about to get fired if he keeps this type of stuff up.
That's what everybody keeps mentioning. They were like, I guess he was known for being, that risk taker, that gambler, that kind of, do whatever it takes to win a game. And it just didn't. He didn't trust his team to get it done down there. They struggled. They struggled at the end of in the fourth quarter of this game, and us, along with Riverboat Ron, just didn't feel confident that the Commanders can close this game out. So you're right.
Did you see what he said? Did you see why he said they didn't go for 2?
No.
He said that he said the offense was gassed and that they were tired.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you think the offense is gassed, wouldn't you think the defense is too?
Right.
Like, why don't you go and pound it right up the middle? Like, take advantage of that. Like, see how good their how good their cardio is. Let's see if Jalen Carter has gotten used to having to stay on the field for that long. Or maybe just go with a trick play. Get that win in front of your home fans and give yourself a 3-1 record unexpectedly in the division.
Yeah, they were tired. Even the Eagles were tired in this one. You could tell. It was like a marathon. But, I mean, I don't know. This is going to come back and bite them in the ass. They could easily been 3-1 and have a crucial division game one locked up.
They would have been tops in the division. Yeah.
Correct. So, I don't know. You're right. This is typical. This is the new Riverboat Ron that we're getting. Very conservative, and I don't think this is, winning football.
This is the row your boat gently down the stream, Ron. Apparently.
It's definitely going.
And last but not least, Jags got the win in London over the Falcons, 23-7. Did you catch any of the Toy Story part of this?
Yeah, I just had it up. Let me see if I can pull it back up. But did you? That's my question now.
I watched a little bit of it. I was curious, but I mean, like we were saying in the chat, I couldn't watch the whole game like that. And especially when my phone started going off with updates before I had, because it's on delay, because they have to use the AI and all that. So I was like, all right, I can't keep watching it like this. But then I saw, the touchdown celebrations. Like, okay, this is cool. If you want to watch it with your kids, get away with something there. But, it was more of to me, I think it would be cool to see if they could further this technology. Because have you seen on the Thursday games where they have it on Prime, where they show the routes that they run? Some of that can be pretty cool. So I'd like to see how far they take it.
Yeah, no, my kids loved it. I was watching, most of it. And they're like, oh, look, it's Woody. Or look, it's, Bullseye dancing on the ball. So it got them interested in the side characters. But, the actual football portion, they weren't, too tuned into that. But it was cool. It's one way to, I guess, the best of both worlds. You can get to watch football. And your kids get to watch Saturday morning cartoons with you.
Now, did you explain to your kids that Buzz and Woody are also the names of Andy's mom's favorite toys as well? Did you happen to mention that?
I didn't. That's later, man. That's.
Okay. Yeah. Google that one, kids. All right. What you're watching week 5? Let's move on. Right. Goose, you got your eye on a game between some division leaders here. What you thinking about there?
Who looking at? Oh, the Cowboys.
No, I don't think it's the Cowboys. I think we're looking at fantasy here. We're looking at Hector and Carlos, was who you said you're threw me off there a little bit.
Threw me off.
Yeah, sorry. That kind of happens when you talk about dildos, I guess.
Adult toys.
Hey, everybody needs something, I guess.
Oh shit! Let me pull this up, and we'll get it going.
That's a real toy story for you.
Oh my goodness!
So, looking at our fantasy games, Goose, you got your eye on Hector versus Carlos, 2 3-1 division leaders. Hector has the line by 4 points right now. What you looking for here?
Let's see. So yeah, we got Britney Spears versus the Florida Hurricanes, both 3-1. Hector's projected to win this one. He's slightly favored in this one. And then Carlos, you can say he's hurting, but he's had some big players out in this one. He has the number 1 quarterback in Justin Herbert on a bye week, and same thing with Mike Evans, number 9 wide receiver in fantasy. And then Hector's got more favorable players. He's got Justin Fields, Henry, and Isaiah Pacheco, man. This guy was interesting. He had 20 carries, 115 yards, and a touchdown. They're ramping up his volume, so I can see why he's favored over Aaron Jones in this one. This is a big one. The winner goes to 4-1, and then the loser goes to 3-2. I like it.
Yeah, 4-1 definitely feels a lot better than 3-2. That's for sure. And I hate to put the pressure on you, man, but I'm going to be looking at your game versus your brother, Sam.
Oh damn.
You are 0-4. Sam is 1-3. Now, what I find, really interesting about this game, Sam is favored by 26.5 right now, but who knows? ESPN thinks there's still a 1% chance when you're down by 80 with 2 minutes left in the Monday Night Football game. But to me, what is most interesting in this game is that if you go to 1-4, it gives you hope. If Sam goes to 1-4, he ain't going to feel too good about it, right? And if he goes to 2-3, he's gonna feel a lot better. But you go into 0-5, that's gonna feel like a backbreaker, even though you still have a chance, of course. So I like the dynamic of course, brother versus brother. We're all brothers, but you all are real brothers, and that dynamic of it. But it's a lot of interesting matchups here. I mean, it looks like Sam and we got Thank Me Now versus Thank Me Later. So I don't know who's going to be thanking who or who's going to be thankful for anything. This ain't Thanksgiving yet, but there may be a turkey involved depending on what happens, because you got Kirk Cousins versus Matt Stafford. You got Saquon if he comes back versus Ramondre. James Cook versus Javonte Williams. Now, the reason why I bring up each of those three is every single matchup from with the quarterback and running back so far involves somebody questionable. So we don't know if they're going to play and how well they'll play. But then you got some good wide receivers. You got Devontae Adams and Terry McLaurin versus Christian Watson and Calvin Ridley. They've had some up and down games. Cooper Kupp might make his debut coming back versus George Pickens. Cortland Sutton, Michael Wilson. Then you got Drake London and Tutu Atwell. Who knows if he's going to roll out two Rams wide receivers, how that will go. And then he's going to have not only just two Rams wide receivers, but two Broncos wide receivers, Jerry Jeudy and Jacoby Myers, which you have Jacoby Myers, he has Devontae Adams. So there's just so much that could go wrong or right for either one of you in this game. I can't wait to see what happens, man, because no matter what, either you're going to be thrilled that you get your first win and Sam is going to be demoralized by giving you the first win, or Sam's going to feel pretty darn good moving up to 2-3 in the toughest division, and you are going to feel horrible at 0-5,
Yeah, well, he already beat me in the first one, so he owes me now. But we'll see. If ESPN is favoring his whole team actually, and he's got some big names over there. But you're right. Thank me now or thank me later. We're about to find out.
Well, one thing I'm not going to thank you now about is I got to stop giving you first option on what you watching when I ask you, so I can put it in the show doc, because Cowboys and 49ers, that's the low-hanging fruit right there.
There we go.
That is going to be a hell of a game, man. I can't wait to see that. Sunday Night Football, that should definitely live up to the hype. What are you specifically looking out for in this game? 49ers favored by 4 so far.
Right. So who you got in this game besides who we're watching? And then I'll tell you who I got.
My heart and my stomach and my gut say 49ers, because that's what I want to have happen. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I feel like the Cowboys could surprise here. But I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to go ahead and say that they win by a field goal, and I think that it's going to be hard fought, but I just don't think that the Cowboys are as well-rounded as the 49ers. I take it you disagree there, good sir.
How about?
Or should I say Goose Prime? And that's what you look like right now, Goose Prime.
How about the Cowboys? This is gonna be fun, man. This is gonna be fun. This could be the potential NFC Championship. We have Brock Purdy and going against Dak Prescott. Surprisingly, Brock Purdy has played better than Dak Prescott. He's had more yards, more touchdowns, and he's better looking than Dak Prescott too. So, but there's a lot of fantasy players in this matchup. Tony Pollard, your boy McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk. This is gonna be a party, baby.
I think it will be, but you know what I think is going to be the difference and why I lean towards the 49ers is that when it comes down to it, when shit hits the fan, as you know it will in these huge, tough, hard-fought defensive games, the 49ers can pivot because they have so many more different options. Like you look at the Cowboys and they got Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb. Outside of that, yeah, they got Brandon Cooks, they got Michael Gallup, but they're not ones that you can lean on to win you a game by themselves. But you look at the 49ers, they got CMC. Okay, let's say that, the Cowboys do great and shut him down. Well, they got Brandon Ayuk, and he's been playing lights out. You got Deebo Samuel, who can do it anywhere over the field. And if you shut down all of them, don't forget they still have one of the best tight ends in the game who just happens to like blocking as much as he does catching passes. And when he's on, he's on. So I just feel like that when the Cowboys throw a punch, the 49ers will have a better counterpunch. That's the only thing that I see happening here.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point you make. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch. These are two of the top defenses in the NFL. So I know you like defense.
Oh
massively.
yeah, I do.
But both offenses have enough firepower to put up plenty of points, and these guys will end up playing each other down the road. They usually do in the playoffs somewhere. So
Hmm.
yes,
Yeah, once the Cowboys decide their season's over in January. Yep. Well, since you went ahead and took this low hanging fruit, I got to go with the antithesis to this game. You might want to take your hat and sunglasses off for this one. Bengals
man.
and Cardinals. Bengals and Cardinals. Yeah. Now look, I get it's not pretty. The Cardinals have been surprising though. They have not just been the doormats that everybody thought they would be, right? So I am pretty surprised by that. And I'm also surprised the Bengals have looked so bad. The Bengals are favored by 3. But I gotta say, man, like the reason why I got my eye on this game is last week was supposed to be a get right game for the Bengals. They were going to be playing that pass funnel defense, get Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase back on it. They didn't. They got trounced. The Cardinals, on the other hand, they looked halfway decent versus the 49ers. They beat the Cowboys. They should have beaten the Giants. So, the Bengals are favored by 3. I'm taking the Cardinals on this one, man. I think that the Cardinals might end up putting the Bengals to bed for this season. They might even think about sitting Joe Burrow because this would, I mean, heads could roll. Now, I don't think they're going to make any huge changes. I think that Joe Burrow is hurt. The calf has a lot to do with, how you set up the throw. That offensive line, which is supposed to get better, is not better at all. And the Cardinals are, they're playing like they don't want to tank. So I'm interested to see what happens because the Bengals are fighting for their lives this season, and the Cardinals have been playing like they've been fighting for their lives all season.
Yeah, you're right. It was very surprising to see the Cardinals beat the Cowboys in that game. First of all, nobody expected that. Second, everyone, including Vegas, expect the Cardinals to be literally one of, if not the worst team in the NFL, and be the top contender for the Caleb sweepstakes. So that's what I call this matchup, the Caleb sweepstakes, and because they're both 1-3, and at the end of this game, one of these teams is gonna be 1-4, and you wouldn't think the Bengals would be in that conversation, but believe it or not, Joshua Dobbs has been playing better than Joe Burrow, 800 yards, 4 touchdowns. Joshua Dobbs.
Out of 32 teams, what do you think the Bengals rank in points per game?
It has to be low, man. It has to be low. I know Joe Burrow hasn't scored much touchdowns, and they look pretty bad. What you got?
They are 31st.
Damn.
31st in the NFL. The only team they are outscoring is the Giants. So, yeah, not good. And by the way, Joe Burrow is ranked 29th out of the starting quarterbacks. There's only 32 of them, people. So, we'll see if they can get right. They better not only get right, but they better win by a lot to start winning back some belief there. But as far as the players go, you and I both have our eyes on some different games here. Goose, you're going with Mac Jones versus the Saints. Why?
Mac who? Mac Jones.
Jones.
What's wrong with Mac Jones? Right? We don't know. Is he broken? Is it the offense? What's going on? Does he not care? Does he not want to win?
I think that he thinks that he's better than he is. Because that interception you just played right there, what you didn't see is 2 plays, I think it was 2 plays before that, he made a similar throw and actually made the throw and got a positive gain out of it. And he thought, oh, well, screw it. I'll just do it again. Those throws don't work in the NFL normally. I mean, you got lucky the first time. And I think Bill O'Brien is a better coach, better offensive fit. I think that it hurts him to have 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years. I don't think he is a great quarterback, but he should be serviceable. But he also doesn't have the greatest team around him either. So you kind of put all of that stuff together, and you're kind of getting that, that mediocrity that I don't think is totally his fault, but he's also not going to rise above it either.
Yeah. We don't know what we have. If we get good Mac Jones, bad Mac Jones. He got benched for Zappy in that game. He wasn't doing well. I want to see. Are we making progress? Are we making progress? This guy is out there. I think he's got the talent to be an average quarterback in the NFL. I think the Patriots have some pieces to have some success, maybe make playoffs. But I think that this guy's just throwing it all away, making those boneheaded mistakes, those throws across the field. He's just being really careless with the ball. I think they could have beaten the Eagles in Week 1, and I think it was
Mhm.
partly his fault. Why they lost that game, just getting a little too careless with the football.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have that clutch gene yet, and he's trying to get there. I can see that he wants to win. I just don't think that he knows how to. It's kind of like what they said about Michael Jordan. Once he figured out how to win the game, you could not stop him. But trying to figure out how is 90% of the battle, right? So speaking of trying to figure out how, Matthew Stafford to me is a tale of positives and negatives. Like it might, like you ever remember that book? And I used a Cliff Notes. Just don't tell my teacher. A Tale of Two Cities. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Charles Dickens. So the first part is it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, right? What if I were to tell you Matthew Stafford is on pace to throw for 5,223 yards this year? Great, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, he's pushing a record right there. What if I told you that he's also on pace to throw 13 touchdowns and 21 interceptions?
Wow.
Yeesh. Yeah, exactly. So I'm interested to see what happens here. He's playing better than I thought he would. The Rams are playing better than I thought they would. And he gets apparently Cooper Kupp back this year. How is that going to look with Puka and Tutu, who have been playing well? Van Jefferson has gotten attention. Kyron Williams is playing well. The line is holding up better than I would have thought. They look like they're at least trying to contend there. I want to see how that offense looks when he has all his pieces in and who he focuses on, because it used to be that he only threw to Cooper Kupp, but now he doesn't have to. So what does he do? So that's going to be interesting to me, especially versus the Eagles, who are going to seriously make him have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah, I think the Rams are one of those surprise teams we were not expecting to be doing so well this year or being competitive in games. Granted, they're only 2-2 and third in the division, but they're playing teams tough, and they are literally one of the most fun offenses to watch every Sunday. They got some top fantasy players on their team, running back, wide receiver, and we're you guys have multiple players from that team and benefiting as a result. So I think you're right. Let's see. I don't know what Stafford's all about. He's been in the league for a long time, and he's been bad some years, and he's been average and above average. He's been pretty much all the above. So you're right. Which Matthew Stafford are we getting this year?
Yeah, and for those that aren't aware, quarterback rate QBR is out of 100, and quarterback rating, which is different, is up to 158.3. He has 61.1 QBR, so he's just barely above average, 78.1 rate. So he's playing very well, but also very poorly at the same time, and it's coming out to an average end. But, I mean, they move the football. They don't score a lot of touchdowns through the air, but we'll see how that goes. But speaking of going, it's towards the end of our time here. I do want to remind everybody to be in sync. And I don't mean the boy band, but I do need to remind you that it is a bye week. Starting this week, we have buys by the Bucs, the Seahawks, the Browns, and the Chargers. Set up your lineups accordingly. I would recommend that if you have early games, that you put those players in the running back or wide receiver position so that you can pivot with your flex positions as needed. But just keep in mind, Bucs, Seahawks, Browns, Chargers, and from here we will have more teams on bye as we go. Goose, what are your closing thoughts on Week 4, brother?
I don't have much. Good luck to everybody. Everybody moving pieces around, and I'm just excited to watch the games. I'm in a different position. You could call it must win, but it's almost throwing the towel. But that doesn't mean just autopilot your team the rest of the season. So I'm more in enjoying the games mode than anything. But just wishing everybody good luck, and hopefully we get some fun games to talk about next week.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. And if there's one thing I can guarantee is that the Bucs will not lose this week, so I am very happy about that. I will watch some drama-free real football, although I'll be sweating it out as I play Alex this week. But good luck to everybody. It's been a fun first 4 weeks. Looking forward to another 10 as we continue on. You all have a good one. Goodbye, folks.
Peace.
Yeah, coming in hot, just like the fajita.